Hello, VC. It's I here to do another video. Today's topic is the rise and fall of Chinese records. I mean, vinyl records in China. Before I start, I want to give a special thanks to Matt. Some of you, uh, some of new subscribers known of me because of Matt's channel. He did a video about my channel. I mean, you don't have to do this. He's a really nice guy and one of my earliest subscriber, and he's also one of the motivation I keep doing the videos, because I always know someone will watch my video. So thanks a lot, Matt. Then let's start. So I did some research about the rise and fall of Chinese vinyl records. So let's start from 1930s to 1940s. So during that time, China was ruled by the government which now ruled Taiwan. So China is a country with two governments now. So PRC, People's Republic of China, rules the mainland, and another Chinese government ruled Taiwan, but we are still one country, I think. So Chinese records, vinyl records, is two-part. The after 1950, because we are divided into two parts. So in 1930s to 1940s, all the records are old 78 records. Most the records is only for the upper floor. They have food, they have clothes, they don't have to worry about of living, of survival. So during that time, Shanghai is a very international city, and so we have a lot of records of old jazz music and some Chinese music too, but it's like dancing in the rain and kind of style, or Frank Sinatra, that kind of music. That's old pop music. But then the World War II started. Most of these records are destroyed during the World War II. So these records are really collectible and valuable. So it has its historical value, I think. I think I'll put some links in the description. so you can check out what the music during that time in China sounds like. Um, yeah, and then after the Chinese Civil War, so the old government retreat to Taiwan, and the mainland was ruled by the Chinese Communist Party. Um, in the early 50s, there are a lot of records released uh, on a label called China Records. This is the only record label in China, and it was belong to the country, so belong to the government. So it's a government's property. Um, it's this label released a lot of records uh, before a lot different kinds of music on a lot of records before the Cultural Revolution in China. So most of these records are Chinese opera, like Peking opera, something like that. Contains different kinds of operas in China. So another kind of music is Chinese classic music. Um, During that time, 1950s, a lot of Chinese composer composed a lot of music, classical music, um, which absorb um, a lot of things from the Western classical music. So, but with these music are really great. I think you guys will love it because it's kind of mixture of Western music and East music. So it has piano, has violins, but it also has some traditional Chinese instrument element in these music pieces. So I'll put a link below so you can check it out. But then the Culture Revolution started. Culture Revolution is a disaster for Chinese traditional culture because during that time, all the earlier stuff was destroyed by the government. Um, so it's really hard to find these records from 50s or early 60s in China because most of these records are destroyed in cultural revolutions. During cultural revolutions, only 8 model plays or operas are allowed to play, and only songs saying about the great Chairman Mao and the great Communist Party was allowed to be played. So all the records from 1966 to 1976 are 8 model plays or model opera and the songs about the Communist Party and Chairman Mao. So after 1980s, so China opens its gate to the world. Um, People start to listen to Western music, but during the whole 80s, there are there were no Chinese pop star. People like to hear more about Western music or the music from Hong Kong. Um, but in the late 80s, there are some really great Chinese rock band. Um, these rock bands are most hard rock or metal band, but some of them are like punk band. But they never released album in vinyl album in China. They only released cassette and CD. So, but there are two Western artists released a vinyl album in China during the 1980s. One is this album, Jean-Michel Yell. I don't know. It's a French name. I don't know. I pronounce it right. So he did a concert in China around 1981 or 82. So this is German pricing, but this album has a Chinese pricing. So, but it was recorded in China. It's not typically, Western artist album. So that makes Michael Jackson the only one release a vinyl album in China. That's bad. So Bad is the only album has Chinese pricing. I mean, mainland Chinese pricing, or People Republic of China pricing. It's we love Michael Jackson, but China Records also released some records during 80s. I think the President Xi's wife released a couple of albums during 1980s. But after 1992, the vinyl in China is dead. But the last pricing plant is closed in 1998. But after 1992, no one bought records anymore. Only cassette and CDs. So but I think in 2015, China, one of Chinese company start to press the vinyl records again. So we have our own pricing plant now. So that's the whole history of PRC. of vinyl in PRC. Yes, sorry about my English. But in Taiwan, it's a different kind of story. So the most of records you see or you saw wild has Chinese characters was released in Taiwan uh, because only 2 albums was released in mainland. So, for example, like this, a lot of Chinese characters here. This was released on the first records. It's a record label from Taiwan, I think. Interesting. I don't know much about the pricings in Taiwan, but they priced all the famous band from Western, because Taiwan has a great relationship with USA. Yeah, I don't know much about it. But nowadays, I think from 2010, a lot of Chinese band are released their album on vinyl. So, but it's for now it's still a really small market. Not a lot of people in China are interested in the records, and also it's a kind of expensive hobby in China because you can only buy records from overseas or yeah, that's the only way I think. If you love the Western music, that's the only way. So most of the records are really expensive, like 30 to 40 euro for a common reissue of any records. But you can't find any 80s, 60s, 70s rock album in like thrift store or something like that. So that makes this hobby really expensive. But I think in the future things will be better. A lot of companies and peoples did a lot of work to promote this vinyl culture. So more and more young peoples like me in China are interested in records, and it's a great hobby, I think. I love music. I want to hold the music I love in hand. So yeah, I don't know if I talk the story properly, but I hope you enjoy the story. And thanks for watching. Bye.